I'm watching this movie on Roku called Green Dreamkeeper. All the Indian actors from the 1990s and new up and coming Indian actors from the 2000s are in it. All the Indian actors that ever acted in an Indian movie from Tecumseh and Crazy Horse and Dance Me Outside and Smoke Signals and what's the other one? There's Dance Me Outside and Smoke Signals and isn't there another one? I don't remember. But they're all in this movie. It's like a big giant powwow. I'm watching it. I wonder if all the people that told all these stories in these movies told stories for money and didn't stand up for the truth. You know? Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Dear lady, can you hear the wind blow? Did you know? Your stairway lies on the whispering way. Yeah. I'm tired, I'm sore. I'll get up and move around. I went down to go get the air conditioner. And I took the, what's that thing called? The scan disc with me. I was listening to Sam Cooke, and then Donna Summer came on when I went to pick up the air conditioner. Me and a girl talked. She said that was her mom's music. Her mom was really into ABBA. Said, yeah, Chiquitita reminds me of my Kate, my daughter. I married a Gomez. Yeah. and she laughed. I got the air conditioner. I brought it home. I'll prep it tomorrow morning. Oh, that reminds me, I got to go put the ladder in the barn. I'll prep it tomorrow morning, and then we'll have it ready. And then who knows if we can get a hold of our muscle man, Jerry. I can take it up and hook it up tomorrow. And then have both air conditioners, all three air conditioners running. I got to put a damper on this one. I'll get it done. I'll go to the store. Hey, there's something else I got to buy at the store. I can't remember what it is. What was it? I had something I had to buy at the store. Does anybody remember? So, the only thing more pathetic than Indians on TV is Indians watching Indians on TV. Indians watching Indians on TV. Barboncito, Manuelito, Cochise, Taja, Nache, Tishna, Little Hawk, Crazy Horse, Tensquataway, Tecumseh, Pontiac, Seattle, Joseph. A lot of, quote, Indians watch TV through the spirit of the white man's father, Earl, the son of Ralph and Mary, the man from the book of Revelation. Guys, let's talk. Okay. A lot of the Muslims don't believe I'm him because he magically comes from the sky. Yeah. In the book it says, in Revelation and in the Quran, that he magically comes from the sky. And everybody can see him. Everybody that's looking for him. So if you're on YouTube and you're looking for love in all the wrong places, who is that? Looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, searching their eyes, looking for traces, what I'm dreaming of. Who sings that one? So it's not Mickey Gilley, is it? No. looking for love. Here, I'm watching the movie. It's Tonto Cardinal. This is about, that's Victor Joseph's mother. This is about only 5 years. That's 5 years after Smoke Signals. This is 2003. Smoke Signals was 1998, right? And Dance Me Outside was 1994. And damn, there's another one I watched. I don't remember which one it is. And I'm thinking. I don't know. I used to like these movies a lot when I was young. They were the ones I'd always go watch. Grand Canyon, I watched it with Danny Glover and Kevin. It was about life, but it wasn't as, I'm more of a eternity man myself. So I'd usually get movies like this. But this is when I was married to Amy. And we always got the movies that Amy liked. In 2003, yeah. We got movies that Amy liked, so. I did watch a lot of Jennifer Lopez movies and Jim Carrey. Amy liked Jim Carrey and Jennifer Lopez. She was raised on Living Color. She liked Jennifer Lopez because people told her she kind of looked like her. She liked Jim Carrey for obvious reasons. He's funny, right? Yeah. Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber and what other movies is Carrey in? Yeah. What other stuff did my Amy like? She's really into J-Lo. Yeah, we watched lots of J-Lo movies. Enough. Wedding Planner was her go-to. That was her favorite. Well, she always felt like she was stuck with Miss Mo. Miss Mo was full of crap, man. I was Miss Mo. She was wanting Steve or Eddie, and I was Miss Mo. And she always told me that, and she told Natalie that, and I was like, hey, Natalie, she arranged the marriage. Yeah. She wanted somebody to take care of Natalie because she wasn't ready for it. And I was 14 years older than her and a single dad. And had a wife that was in the thuggish, ruggish, dating drug dealers just like her baby daddy was, stuff. So, ran Crips out of the thing. You can smell I just never bragged about it. I just never, funny because when Amy watched the Edward Norton movies, she liked him a lot too. And we watched American History X. It's like, no, I was better than him. I was better. Yeah. I stood up to everybody. I stood up to, I stand up to everybody for the Lord's Prayer, to do the right thing, to take care of children from abuse and selfishness, right? You guys all make movies for money, and I stand up I'm the 1322nd Redeemer. And I'm global. Facebook couldn't handle me. They had to get rid of me. And last night and this morning, Jesus talked to me, because I was like, man, I feel like they're killing me. He's like, yeah, you're chemical poisoning, detoxing slow because they don't care. But Earl, the clean water, that's up to the county and Walmart, okay? Toxic environment, that's up to Halliburton and the people who run the local farming industry with the herbicides and the pesticides, right? All the stuff that they, the cars are coming back and all here started up after COVID because of all the new developments for all the people that work on the other side of the mountain for their jobs and says, stand up for a Lord's Prayer. So you've taken care of everything. You haven't let anybody down. They've let you down, just like they did me, just like they did Mohammed, just like they did Haile Selassie, just like they did Pascal, the wager. And then the Vatican killed him, poisoned him. So it's not any different than what happened to Herschel Steinschneider with Adolf Hitler, what happened to Pascal with the Vatican and his own family, what happened to Daniel and Joseph and Jesus with their own family and these people they call governments and these God inventors and these magical, mystical stories that they tell for money. Me, I don't tell stories for money. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. I'm the Redeemer of the gospel. So I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. If you don't believe that, I'm magic. I go up to the sky and come down to the sky. And the truth of my faithful love and my courage and kindness has gone all across the world. Every rich cloner building robots to keep his clone safe from the other robot building cloner knows who I am. They tremble in fear that the whole world will know me and understand me and accept me as their father and only have holy covenants kept in my name, in the name of Earl, the father of holy peace, of holy covenants, Earl, He keeps your wedding vows as well as he keeps his. The military collected all the evidence and then tried to get rid of it. And then obviously is lying about being like him because they won't honor wedding vows. They'll murder over money and they'll use science projects to try to poison people to death and get them to accept it. I know my body's being poisoned, but I know I can recover like a river. Okay? Like on Thunderheart. That's another one of the Indian movies. Right? And Dances with Wolves. I like Dance Me Outside and Smoke Signals better. I like Indian movies. Dance with Wolves is all right. It's a little long and long-winded and egotistical. You know how those movies are. What I like about a lot of Indian movies is, they make you laugh, they make you cry. They do everything. They put humor in, they put, it's not so much about action, it's about living, The stories are about living. And they tell you the stories are visions, okay? And they're not real, it's about a moral. It's the moral of the story from a guy who knows. I'm in love and my love still grows. Run around Sue, that's my wife. Hey, hey. That's my second wife. My first wife, a very mad lesbian that was sexually abused by men and women, groomed and abused by men and women. The men made it a horrible experience. The women made it a pleasurable experience. And so men are horrible and women are not. And I'm like, okay, I had sex with you the same way that the woman that sexually groomed you has sex with you, only better because I didn't groom you as a child. I loved you and took you in as a woman. I gave you my seed so you'd have my son and I would take care of you through loving my son, like we talked at Grandma Gillier's funeral. I want to be cremated. Oh, and then Ollie looked at us and said, no one will cremate any. Nobody in the family will do it. And me and Steffi both looked at each other and said, my kids will do it for you. Our kids will do it for you. All right. Little did we know that kid was named Patrick Earl Parsons. My first wife is a prince. Do you know who the princes are? Somebody in Oklahoma married a black person and had children. Okay. And Ollie's a prince. Her married name is Hughes. Her maiden name is Prince. It's one of the principal families of the Cherokee Nation. You guys didn't know that, did you? Yeah. So my son Patrick, okay, is descended from the Cherokees. According to the all the bigotry and the stuff that my grandmother went through, all the hate and abuse and shit from being accused of being a muzzle white. They said they were muzzle white, but muzzle whites weren't Cherokee. They just named muzzle white. Just muzzle white. But then again, the Mormon church says that Granny Kramer, the woman with the Jewish peddler name in Germany, has no Jewish in her. But Jesus laughed and said, Earl, what? Your grandmother's from Ruth's line. I was like, oh, okay. So the blood test and the tribalism really doesn't mean anything. We are who we are in spirit. That's why Tishna talks to you. That's why Crazy Horse and Little Hawk talk to you, especially Little Hawk, yeah. That was neat, man. When we moved to Wyoming, I'd walk back and forth to Tara's house and he'd tell me the stories. And then when we went back, the story started again. And he told me about, and everybody's like, but he died. He was dead during the wagon box fight. But, wash day, right? Through the spirit of his brother, Crazy Horse told me the story, how it went down and what happened. And I had read it in a book. But the story, made much more sense when Crazy Horse told it to me. Yeah. And, yeah. Crazy Horse. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. The white buffalo with curly hair. Yeah. I know you get all those people, you look like this. He didn't look like Michael Gray's. No. He was a white buffalo with curly hair. His dad was like Scandinavian. Little Hawk and Crazy Horse had the same mother. Okay? And two different fathers. One, she had Crazy Horse with, and he was killed. He was in the cavalry. Okay. They called her a Fort Whore. And the second also was killed. And then she came back to her people with two children and a beautiful man named Spotted Tail, the Joseph of the Oglala. Took these two boys in and raised them as his own. And they were treated like shit because they were half white. Yeah. That's a true story. Inju and Apache, and this is true. Yeah. There's a story they told Mary Santis, and he wrote the book. Okay. There's the story that people tell, and then there's a story that our prayers tell because they're talking to the man from the book of Revelation. When will this time come to pass? When will when will the vision of Avoca take place? When will they respect the earth for being our temples for the spirit? DNA in the clay, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? So when will this happen? And people don't understand that there is no honor in murder and fighting and killing. A lot of these stories about murder and fighting and killing, there's no honor in this. There's only honor in teaching people to honor life and see us all provided life by the Great Spirit. Okay? And how to respect that. When people fight, it's because they've lost their way. That they become selfish. That they try to trap the essence of the Great Spirit in the body. Okay? A real man doesn't want to kill his neighbor. He wants to love his neighbor. For his neighbor, everyone knows that it's better to have a neighbor for your sons to marry than it is to try to marry your own sister. It's better to have a neighbor with daughters to marry than it is to marry your own brother. Everybody knows that the family next door is better for marrying than trying to keep your seed in your family and only have your family be the only one. Then you try to murder everybody off the face of the planet. You call yourself a person, and then you kill all other people to make yourself the only person. Cloners and robot builders. Yeah. Donald John Trump. Yeah. He's no different than Barack Obama, Joe Biden, or the Bush family. The Bush family, anytime any of these people tried to get up and do anything to try to, quote, help me out, they were just trying to get me to go after their business enemies and to make it feel like they had no way out. They were just using me. Well, because they see my family as a science project, they don't see me as the Messiah. I'm just an egotistical science project that never does any real work and gets all his praise and all his talents from all the hard work of the people that use science projects to move the best man in the history of the Roman Empire to the future. And then another science project did the same thing with the Rose of Mecca, moving to the future. Well, technically, yes. So they're called wormholes. Okay, you invent a wormhole. They told me about it in Sierra Vista. It was a black man. He was looking to time travel to the past to go back to help his black slave relatives. I'm like, what good would that do? It didn't happen, obviously, because we're all here. And there's no story of a black man coming to the past to free all the slaves with Jules Verne, right? So thinking that you wanted to do this is folly. He said, well, the trouble with it is, he goes, you could only build a time machine. You could only travel through the wormhole from the time it was invented. So you could go to the future, but you couldn't go to the past. It's like, not if you put it in a space station and had the space station turned counterclockwise to the rotation of the planet, and then had a spacecraft that could go through the space station, through the wormhole with the right coordinates, and then go down into the past, do what you wanted to do in the past, and then go back to that exact coordinates for that wormhole back into that space station. You could do it, Victor Van Doom. You can do it, Victor Van Doom. It is easy for scientists, really. Yeah, you just have the right coordinates and have it there and have a rendezvous time where it's going to be open and opened up at the right coordinates. And you just have to know you have to be there. If you're not there, the spaceship has already left the Earth's atmosphere and is up in space to make the rendezvous at the wormhole. If it doesn't go through, you just self-destruct. On my way back home, I had Jennifer Lopez in my head. She goes, do you want to die? And I said, when I'm ready. It's just strong hearts, brave hearts to the front, weak hearts to the rear, right? Hoka hey Lakota, it's a good day to die, right? So she asked me that, do you want to die? I said, yeah, when I'm ready. It's what God gave me, God gave me the life of sacrifice. But I don't plan on being murdered for any politicians or their propaganda celebrities. Okay, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to let them. Jesus and Suzuki always tell me that. Don't let them. They're going to torture you. They're going to abuse you. They're going to torture, abuse, and kill people. Okay? Donald Trump took a hole in the ear. That's like getting an ear pierced with a little low-powered weapon. He's never been chemically poisoned. He's never had his wife taken and had, maybe he's like fucking P. Diddy, had his wife taken and had all the guys from the Ford have sex with him and say, you got such a bigger penis than my husband. Yeah, but Amy's husband is a man, and all the murderers at Fort Huachuca that fucked her had a job that fucked little girls to death from brothels and Juarez. And I got up all by myself to stop it. If I was going to make love with a man, it would be me. If I was a woman, I'd be like, I choose him. There's not another man on the planet that I wouldn't want to love and be loved by. How sweet it is to be loved by you, right? Sweet love and devotion. I can't imagine another man. If I was a woman, there wouldn't be any other man in the world that I would want to spend the rest of my life with. And I would want to be with him, 104 maybe more, hanging out in the Gila, running merrily through the snow. If I was a woman, I wouldn't settle for anything less than this man. Like the old lady in the cave with the arrows, right? You didn't want me when I was old. Now that I'm young and beautiful, I'm not going to be young and beautiful. I'll die when I'm ready. I'll detox and I'll recover. And like I told my wives, all that matters to me is that you're healthy and happy. And when we're living the Lord's Prayer, we'll all be healthy. And when we're all living the Lord's Prayer, if you're not happy, to hell with you. You're a demon and you're selfish and you're ugly. Even if you physically have got all the right products and all the right upgrades at your local body mechanic shop to be the most fuckable murderer in the history of cartel employees in the whole fucky shitty fucky goddamn shicky fucky world. Got the worst shitty fucky. See how physically pretty that girl is? Of course, she's 23 years older now. She's 20 there. If she's 23 there, that means she's 46 today. Yeah, that's a ghost. And that's another ghost. You're looking at ghosts. Those are ghosts on the TV. Just like this is a ghost. Right? I'm the ghost man. When you meet me in real life, I talk to you and our spirits connect and we talk about living that which is right and was true. And if you want to live it, you honor me like the man and his wife. If you don't, you just kind of look at me like the son and his father. They just looked at me and didn't really say anything. So you don't want to live the Lord's Prayer? Okay. Well, there are lots of people that lived here before the Europeans showed up that do want to live the Lord's Prayer because they know it's right. And there are a lot of people that do not. They don't think they have to. If you don't have to obey our Father's commands, then he's not your Father. He's our Father. Wash day. Okay? Inju. Okay. We'll talk later, man. Why? Because I listen beautifully, so I talk like a man. You listen like shit, so you talk like shit. I need to vote for money, then kill all the opposition, accept Jesus as my God, killer clown from outer space with satellites, right, and then go live in that magic world between your ears with them when you're dead. It's only going to last for about 30 minutes. I love you. Peace.